right, awesome. Hello and welcome everyone to episode 17 of Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. This is a live podcast where you get to meet successful business owners, receive a glimpse of life behind the scenes with them, struggles they've had, and overcome. It's just full of gold nuggets, and it's the place we hang out to be authentic and share a piece of real life with you. So today I'm talking with Rachael Jencks, and Rachael is a health and fitness coach for moms, helping them go from frazzled to fit. She helps her clients make time to move their bodies and make healthy meals so they can lose weight and build muscle. She believes all moms can create the time and energy that they need while also tending to the needs of their families and business or jobs. Rachael loves helping moms lose weight, increase energy, and have more confidence in themselves so they can do all the things. And my name is Pamela Lewerenz, the Brick Wall Coach. I'm a business consultant and productivity coach, and I work with overwhelmed, stressed out solopreneurs to help them create space and time in their busy days. So if you're tired of trying to stay focused on all the things there are to do with running a business, and you're ready to step into that role as CEO of your dream business, I'm the gal that can help you get there. So I'm so excited to be talking with Rachael today. And so welcome, Rachael.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here to chat on this topic. When you said overwhelmed and stressed, that is the type of woman that I want to work with. So
I know, I was like, ding, ding, ding. That's where our audiences totally overlap, right?
Yep.
Great. So why don't you just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, the face that's behind your business.
Well, I'm a mom of 6. I guess that's kind of always the thing I start out with. And so I live the life of chaos and overwhelm and stress all the time. And it's interesting. I always talk with the moms about how you think when you bring the baby home and you don't get any sleep at night and how hard that is and you have no time for yourself. But once your kids get older, the stress just changes. Now I've got a 16-year-old that's looking at college, and there's the 14-year-old that's learning to drive, that's struggling with her science grade for some reason. And then you've got the 5-year-old that's learning to read and all the things. And there's just so many different areas we get pulled in all directions. And then you try to throw a business on top of all of that, and that just pulls you in another direction that you totally can't even deal with some days.
Yeah, it's just a different set of guidelines, really. First, they're little. Then they grow up and you think, okay, toddler age is like crazy. But the older they get, the more things they're involved in. And it's super hard to try to fit that into your schedule too.
It is, because they have completely different schedules. And sometimes keeping track of where your kids even are in relation to where you need to be is just crazy. So overwhelmed and stressed. That's a word that I hear so many of the moms that I work with talk about. And I talk with a lot of women and entrepreneurs that are entrepreneurs, since that's really my background as well. I guess the last 5 years of my background. But I started out, actually, I went to school for a really, 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 really long time just to find out that I did not want to be in a courtroom or in an office or be tied to somebody else's schedule. I never imagined.
You started out in the legal field.
Yep. I started out as doing a lot of family and criminal law, actually, as an attorney. And then I moved a little bit into tax law. I love numbers and accounting. So I do still actually do a few taxes just because I can't stay out of that area, because it's just something that I love, which is a whole nother definition of chaos come tax season. But I've always loved health and fitness, always. Since I was in 3rd grade, I did at-home workouts with my babysitter before at-home workouts were a thing. Moving into high school, I taught aerobics. I worked my way through college and law school teaching aerobics classes, and I just always loved it. So when I had all these kids and I was working, and the kids were coming to work with us partly because I never really found a daycare, and I didn't really ever work full time, and we had our own office so I could bring them to work with me.
Nice.
But it was very nice. It was a huge cost savings too, I understand, but I was never finding time for myself to exercise, to eat anything decent. It was just all about the little kids and about our office. Because my husband, we had our own law practice, like I mentioned. So we've been entrepreneurial in that range for the last 20 years. And I just started thinking, I'm never going to get this baby weight off if I don't take care of myself. And so I just started to make it a priority. And I watched a infomercial in the middle of the night, like a lot of people do, when they're up with their babies, right? And I ordered a workout online, and that was about 15 years ago. And then it just kind of snowballed from there into 5 years ago, just deciding, why am I doing all this legal stuff that I don't enjoy, that I don't love? Why can't I take my love and my joy and turn that into a business? And so that's how I've ended up here about almost exactly 5 years later. It was October 17th.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. See, mine is 5 years, October 15th. So
Ooh, that's crazy.
we're really close on that too.
Yeah. Oh, 17. I said 17 didn't have a number for me. And there it is. October 17th is when I started my business.
We were just talking. We were chatting before we went live.
Yeah.
And said episode 17. Nope. Doesn't mean a thing. See, it does.
It does. It always does, right?
Awesome. Awesome. So how do you work with your clients?
I work with my clients in two ways. I work with them one-on-one. And that is, the usual health and fitness stuff, setting goals for them, helping them, create meal plans and that type of thing. But I take it a step further than that, because overwhelmed and stressed, we often fall into that, I don't have time, or I cannot fit it into my schedule. I talk with more moms that just say, my kids take over my life. I don't have time. Yeah. And I believe that I can find time for any woman to fit 30 minutes into her day to work out. And now, one of the things for me, like the workout part for me has always been easy. It's the nutrition part that I always struggle with. Like I just kind of eat whatever.
Me too.
And I don't know if it's because I have in my mind, like I can do 30 minutes a day, but that nutrition thing, that lasts all day long.
Yes.
That's a little more willpower. So I help them, meal planning that's good for the whole family, because who wants to make more than, one meal at dinner time, and just how to fit it into your day, how to do meal planning ahead of time. My mom actually made chili when we were out of town a couple weeks ago, and I took the chili and I put it in these little plastic containers I bought on Amazon. And now I've got 10 little containers of chili that's healthy that I can grab when I have nothing else to eat for dinner or whatever. I forgot to mention all my girls are in gymnastics, and we leave at noon every day and we're gone all day. So I'm always eating out of a cooler. So I've got these little meals that when I don't have time to make something else, I do it for my kids too. And we can grab these like TV dinners that are homemade. And so I just help moms kind of organize that stuff. But the step further part is the time management. I take a look at their schedule and help them figure out where they're wasting time. I know no time is wasted, but we all have the same 24 hours in a day. I actually just had this conversation with my daughter this morning that was trying to tell me that that some places only have 23 hours, because we had been talking about Alaska. And so we all have 24 hours, and we all got things. And I know some people are busy, and I know sometimes your house floods, or you've got a sick kid, or a terminally ill relative you're taking care of, but we can always find that 30 minutes. And so I help them find those pockets of time. Are you spending too much time on Facebook? Are you cleaning your kitchen floor too much? Do you really need to, wash the bedding on Sunday every week, or whatever it is, to find that pocket of time? And as soon as you make it a priority, it starts to happen. And so it's just helping them with that first step.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm listening to you as you talk, and I just remember, of course, I've got 5 grown children already, but thinking back to when they were like preteen and teenage, and having to take them to everything that they were involved in. And I remember just loading it was like after school, load everybody into the van and hand out the sandwiches, and, this is where you go. This is where you go. Make your rounds, do what you have to do with them. I mean, it was a long day for me. I'm sure it was a long day for them as well. So I mean, that healthy eating part, it's good for you to be able to say you need to eat healthy, but the kids will eat healthy at the same time. They're going to watch you and what you're eating, and then you'll start doing the same with them.
Well, exactly. And that's a good point. So like when you're teaching your kids that exercise isn't important, and that they can just run through the drive-through, or, all those kind of unhealthy things that we just kind of do on autopilot, that's what they're learning now, what they're carrying into their life too. I remember being in high school, my mom would pick me up from my practice at 5 and drive me to my job. And she always brought me food, because she said, by the time I drive through and get you dinner, we've spent like 1 hour of your working. Like, what's the point of that? It only
Right.
can work for like 3 hours because I was like 16 years old. So, it's a cost thing as well. So one of the things that we do on weekends is we grill a lot, especially in the summer, and whatever's left over, I put those in a container on one side and I make up some whole grain noodles on the other side, and that's their meal. And then I bring like fresh fruit or veggies. We're not into, we just don't eat a lot of cooked veggies.
Yeah.
So a lot of fresh fruits and veggies on the side. So we always have those things. And then whatever doesn't get eaten in the next couple of days, it goes in the freezer. So just last night at my girls' gym, we were walking out and one of the girls goes, "Oh my gosh, did your mom make that for you today?" Because she had chicken wings and noodles. And she's like, "Well, no, and to my kids, it's what we do." She's like, "Well, no, we grilled it over the weekend and we bring it with." Like,
Yeah.
that's what you do. And so it's those things that like we don't always think of until somebody says, "Well, how about you try that?" And you're like, "Oh my gosh, it takes me just as much time to make a double batch of chili and put it in these little containers as it does to make the chili for our meal for tonight. So let's make extra and have the leftovers to save for a later time." So my nutrition, I've gotten better at it as I've worked on all the planning things with it. But
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I think over time, and then you figure out what the best is for you and what you guys like. I mean, everybody
yep.
is going to be different in what they like and what they consider easy.
Exactly. Well, with my kids too, it's like, how many days can we serve spaghetti and meatballs before the
Yeah.
containers come home and they're still full because they're
Yeah.
done with it? Like you kind of feel
We're
those
done.
things
We've
out.
had that
Yeah,
enough.
exactly. But you brought up something, it's little steps. And so when I first actually started coaching, I would, make this plan for my clients. And on Monday's a good start day. And 30 minutes of a workout, and this is what you're going to eat all day. And this is what you're going to do Tuesday, Wednesday. And we'd have this whole plan set out for the week. And what would happen is they would just get totally overwhelmed because it was so much. And you can't make all the changes all at once. Not to mention that if they haven't worked out in a while, on Tuesday, they wake up and they're sore.
Yeah.
And their stomach feels yucky because they ate all this healthy food yesterday that they weren't used to. And so my big thing too with them is just baby steps. So I usually start with the exercise because for me, that's like that's where you really get the energy and you start the sweating and for me, like I'm sore today and I love that feeling. And so that's where it starts. And so like for the first week, we implement 10 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes, 30, whatever they can find the time for. And then we gradually throw in, let's add in a serving of veggies. You weren't eating any veggies. Let's just add another serving of veggies. And for my clients, that works better long-term. The weight loss starts slower because you're not doing all the things, but it works better long-term and they can hold on to those new habits longer.
Yes. Yes. And I think that's key right there. If you implement it on the slower side, the smaller steps, it's easier to retain than if you did everything at once. You're looking back and saying, yeah, I can't relive another week like that.
No, I can't do that. I'm so busy. Yeah, I can't do all that. That was a nightmare. And I do know when I really started focusing on the healthy eating, the first couple of weeks they're hard.
Yeah.
Just because you're like a little more hungry, but then you start thinking like, gosh, I kind of like that. Oh, I'm hungry. I know it's time to eat feeling instead of that constantly full feeling and that lack of energy feeling. You start slowly seeing how those little changes are just making you feel so much better. And you just want to keep on doing it. It's a lot more than the weight loss. It's about how you feel, the confidence, being able to grab anything out of your closet to wear it and all that stuff too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, now I'm thinking back to when I was trying to lose baby weight, and I did back then, you did aerobics was like the thing that you did. And I had a videotape. So I invited a couple of my friends over that had small kids, like, same like me. We would line the kids up on the couch. We'd clear the coffee table out of the way, pop the tape in and do our exercises. And lo and behold, after a while, those kids would get up and want to do it with us. I mean,
exactly.
Small kids like, wow, this looks like fun, because we made it fun and we did it together. So it was kind of that accountability in there. As well. But I mean, for us, it was fun. Our kids were small. We worked all day and it was just fun to get together. We started off like Tuesday, Thursday, and then we built in another day. So even 2 or 3 times a week, just getting together.
Yep. You did the baby steps of it. Yeah. And a lot of time with my moms that have kids, they just say, well, the baby, wakes up in the middle, or I can't start, I get interrupted. I had a swing down in my workout room, and it's like you train your kids. I mean, it kind of sounds like a dog, but you got to train them to
Well, you
know,
do.
well, this is my
You do.
workout time and you can't interrupt me. In fact, and right now I'm working out in our living room because my workout room, the floor's gotten wet from a flood. And so I'm upstairs, and on the weekends, I don't usually wake up earlier. So I'm not usually done when my kids get up, but I'm down in my den. And so they don't bug me. Oh my gosh, on Saturday, they're like all sitting on the couch staring at me. Are you almost done? When are you making breakfast? Like bugging me. And I was like, hold on. Like I've forgotten how much I need that time all by myself without being interrupted and without having them play with the weights and all that stuff. That, that's part of that like alone time, or like you mentioned with your friends, like that's your social time, which is
Yes.
so
I mean, it
important for
turns
moms
into,
too.
it's like all rolled into one. You're working
Mm-hmm.
out, your kids are watching you, so you're setting a good example, and you're getting to chit chat with your friends
Yep.
before or after. Of course, not during the workout, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. You shouldn't be doing too much talking. You got to do the talk
no.
test, but doing it at
Gotta
home as
concentrate
well.
on breathing.
And not tripping over myself or the kids. Like the kids did get in the way. I never like injured any of them or anything, but they'd get in the way. I'd step on a foot here and there when they'd start walking behind me, but they learned.
Yeah.
It was about that training process. But you and your friends doing it at home is another great way to fit it in. So like our gym is like 15 minutes from me. And I like to work out in the morning first thing. And so it's cold in the morning and there is no way. Plus I've got little kids. Now I've got ones that are old enough to be home with the kids but when they were little, like I couldn't leave them home alone. And my husband goes to the gym.
Yeah.
And so for me, like getting up in the morning and brushing my teeth and throwing on my workout clothes and going to my basement is perfect. I save myself a half an hour in the car.
Yeah.
I don't need to drag all my junk to the gym to shower. I don't need to find somebody to watch my kids. Like it's all right here in my house.
That's
And you
time
don't need a
saving
ton of
right there.
equipment.
Yeah.
It is. So yeah, if you're like, I can't make it to the gym, I'm like, yeah, of course not. That's more time. Plus you get to the gym and you're on their schedule because
Yes.
they've got classes at certain times, or you need to wait in line for the treadmill or the weights or whatever. I mean, at my house, like it's my thing and I control all of it and that makes me happy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. So now you have grown this business. Tell us about a particular struggle or some kind of hurdle that you've experienced while you have started and grown this business.
My struggle, I was not a big social media gal prior to starting my business. And when I started my business, like it
Guilty.
became you too. Yeah. It was, I mean, I had like, I had my profile picture had a picture of whatever kids I had at the time. And I
Yeah.
think that was it. And I remember one day my high school friend's the one that signed me up for it. And it was probably, I don't know, 10 years ago. And I remember I accidentally like shared a post from our gym's like webpage, and she commented, "Oh my gosh, you're finally in the like, the modern world." And I'm like,
You're
"Oh
like,
my, what did
what?
I just do? Oh no." And so I was not on social media. So I think my biggest struggle was just learning social media and just how it like how I guess I don't want to say the best way to use it, that there's so many different ways to do it wrong. And when you scroll through your Facebook feed, you see so many health and fitness coaches sharing their picture of their product, or those things, and being very salesy. And so the big challenge for me is just like sharing what I do and how I can help moms in a way that's authentic,
Yeah.
that's
Not salesy.
yeah, that's just, sharing what I do. And it's really hard sometimes to feel like, am I crossing that line or not? But you want to, share your offer, what you're doing, but you don't
Yeah.
want to come across as like you're trying to sell something all the time. And so that's been,
right.
I think that's the biggest challenge for all business
balance.
owners.
It's learning
Yep.
that balance. And I think it's more or less just kind of breaking down that barrier of, okay, this is social media. And if I'm going to have a virtual business, I need to be in there.
Yep.
But setting those time limits for that as well, so that you don't get lost in there doing 50 million other things. You're going in, you're intentional about your time, doing what you need, and getting out.
And get out. I actually had a friend text me on Sunday and she said, I just finally realized after I've been looking at Facebook for 2 hours that if I'm ever going to get my body in shape, I need to work out. And I had to laugh because it's like, that's exactly what just happens. All of a sudden you're like, oh no, I could have done so many things. And that 2 hours in here, I just spent it looking at other people's lives and the things that they're doing. And that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely a trap.
Between social media and TV, those are two big time wasters, where people will say, oh, well, they don't have time. I mean, I'm a big person at night. That's the way that I relax, is I take an hour to watch TV, but that's my choice. But I mean, if that becomes the same way, if you say, oh, I'm just going to watch one show and then it turns into 2 and 3, I mean, that's time chunks
Mhm.
that you have that you could technically be
Be doing
working
something
out
else.
or pre-preparing these meals,
Mhm.
you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like there's always some time somewhere. And I too, like at night, like, and one of the bad habits I've fallen into is I really like ice cream. And anybody that goes on my social media page knows that like I do ice cream a lot. But what happened was is that it became a habit that after my kids would go to bed at night, that was my alone time. And I love Grey's Anatomy. That's the other thing I love. And I would, even when it wasn't in season, I'd watch the reruns on Netflix or Saved or whatever. And so that became my thing. And then all of a sudden one day I'm like, okay, the ice cream bowls are getting like really big. And it was like something I needed to like reel back in and get back into control. But it was my planned alone time every day. And so that's different than, oh, I just vegged out all day Sunday and ate 9 bowls of ice cream and watched TV. There's like a
Exactly.
different balance to it.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
it is all about that balance. So tell us about one of your favorite parts about working with your clients.
It is just getting the messages or seeing them at like when my girls' gymnastics practices, or just seeing their results, seeing them change. When I first really got into health and fitness, one of the reasons I did it, because I loved it, but I found myself with my friends just saying, oh, you've got to do this, this particular workout. And, oh, if you tried this, this would be great or whatever. And just being able to like see those results come along and have somebody tell you that you changed their life. And being able to show that makes it outweighs my inability to do social media sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, super rewarding,
It
you
is.
know? So talking about social media, what's the best place for somebody to connect with you?
Well, I am on Instagram and Facebook. On Instagram, it's Rachael Jencks Fitness is the name of my account there. And then on Facebook, I have my business page. Right now, it's called Mind Body Fitness for Moms with Rachael Jencks because I'm in the process of changing it. And that's like you got to change your name slowly or they tell you can't do it. So I'm in the
Yes.
process of changing that because I realized my business was just so much more than mind body fitness. It was about time fitness, I guess you could call it,
Yeah.
as well. And so I wanted to just kind of dial that in a little bit. So those are the best places to find me. And then I also have my website, which is just rachaeljencksfitness.com. So that's kind of where you can find me all over the place. Yeah, I've got an audio that I have created that's just 4 simple steps to fitting in that workout every day. And it's just actually, it's not an audio, it's PDF, where the audio part came from. I thought about doing an audio. Maybe I'll do an audio
doing
too.
An audio.
Yeah, but it's a PDF and it's got just 4 things that you can do in order to fit your workout in. And I like to say every day because I also tell my clients too that when you schedule that time in at the same time every single day, and that's what you do, even if you stretch during that time or you meditate or whatever it is, put that time aside for you every day because then it becomes part of your everyday instead of, oh, good, tomorrow I don't have to do it. And then the next day you go, oh, I don't have to do it today either or whatever it is. So that's kind of what I advise people to do, but that PDF can help too. And that is just at rachaeljencksfitness.com. I can send you this link also.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I'll add all the links in for everybody.
For everybody on there. Yeah, it's rachaeljencksfitness.com/4 simple steps.
Perfect. Perfect. So before we wrap up, what kind of advice do you want to pass along to the listeners?
Make yourself a priority.
Yeah.
That's easy. And I found I homeschool 2 of my little girls also, and we do social studies, and we're supposed to do that 3 days a week, and we were never getting to it. And all I'm doing is going through the state and talking about different things about each state. And I was like, we're never getting to this. We're never going to get to it. And finally this week, I was like, we're doing this first. Perfect. We're going to spend 15 minutes for like the very first thing we do. And we sit and talk about the state and they love it. We watch a video on the Grand Canyon or whatever, but we do that very first thing. And now we're getting it in. We still have time for all the other stuff. It's just that by 11 o'clock, we'd get into lunch or, get your clothes on or whatever. And so if you make you put other things in front of it. So whatever you make a priority in your life, whether that's Facebook or it's ice cream or your exercise, that's what you're going to do. And
Could not agree more. It is all about priorities and kind of what you want your life to be like. So your priorities should be in alignment with what your ultimate goals are.
Yeah. And it's like, I know with
ice cream and losing 50 pounds don't match.
They don't go together. It's not going to happen. And it's just like with our businesses need to be a priority, and creating income for our families needs to be a priority. But is that all you want in your life? Yeah. It's kind of what you have to look at it. And so I just feel like that this health and fitness part is such a big component in creating a successful business. It's kind of they go hand in hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, good. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to me today. And
You're welcome. Thank you
great.
for having me.
It was great. Well, I want to thank everybody else for tuning in and listening to yet another episode of Breaking Through Your Brick Walls. And remember, every day is a good day to be you. You're amazing, and don't forget it. See you next time.